Hey everyone, and welcome back to another deep dive into the stories that rocked the K-pop world. Today we're talking about something that happened in real time, something that showed us just how fast things can spiral in the digital age. We're talking about Kiss of Life, a rising girl group that went from celebrating a birthday to losing 200,000 followers in just 24 hours. April 2nd, 2025. What started as a fun birthday livestream for member Julie turned into one of the most controversial moments in recent K-pop history. But here's the thing. This wasn't some malicious attack or deliberate provocation. This was a case study in how good intentions can go terribly wrong when cultural sensitivity gets lost in translation. Let me set the scene for you. Kiss of Life, a four-member group under S2 Entertainment, had been steadily building their fanbase since their debut. Julie, Natty, Belle, and Hanol were known for their R&B and hip-hop influenced sound, and they'd been gaining recognition for their vocal abilities and stage presence. They seemed to be doing everything right, and then came April 2nd. The group decided to throw Julie a birthday party with an old-school hip-hop vibes theme. Sounds harmless, right? Hip-hop has been a massive influence on K-pop for decades, and many groups draw inspiration from the genre. But what happened next showed just how thin the line can be between appreciation and appropriation. During the live stream, the members appeared wearing cornrows, bantu knots, oversized gold chains, and what many viewers described as exaggerated hip-hop styling. But it didn't stop there. They began speaking using what sounded like African-American vernacular English, adopting mannerisms and gestures that many felt were stereotypical portrayals of Black culture. One member even introduced herself as Lil Taco Bell, which immediately raised red flags for viewers who were watching in real time. Now, here's where it gets interesting. While Korean fans seemed to initially find the content entertaining, international viewers, particularly those from the United States and other Western countries, began reacting very differently. Comments started flooding in, and they weren't positive. Viewers began calling out what they saw as a mockery of Black culture, accusing the group of reducing hip-hop to a costume and treating racial stereotypes as entertainment. The reaction was swift and intense. Clips from the live stream began circulating on Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit almost immediately. What had started as a birthday celebration was quickly becoming a viral controversy. Fans began using terms like modern blackface and cultural mockery to describe what they had witnessed. The hashtag responses were brutal, with many expressing genuine hurt and disappointment. But here's what made this situation particularly complex. Two of the Kiss of Life members, Julie and Natty, were actually born and raised in the United States. This wasn't a case of artists from a homogeneous society simply not understanding cultural sensitivities. These were young women who had grown up in America, who should have been aware of the racial dynamics and cultural sensitivities around appropriation. The backlash was immediate and unforgiving. Fans began posting before and after screenshots of the group's social media follower counts, documenting in real time how rapidly their numbers were dropping. Within hours, major fan accounts were announcing they were stepping away from the fandom. International fans, many of whom had been loyal supporters, felt betrayed and hurt by what they had witnessed. S2 Entertainment found themselves in crisis mode. By the next day, they had removed all content related to the live stream and issued their first apology. But here's where things get tricky. Their initial response focused heavily on their intentions rather than the impact of their actions. They explained that the content was meant to celebrate hip-hop culture, which serves as inspiration for Kiss of Life's music, but many felt this missed the point entirely. The statement read something like, "We sincerely apologize for causing discomfort to our viewers. The true purpose of the content was to celebrate hip-hop culture, where much of the musical inspiration for Kiss of Life comes from." But critics argued that this apology failed to acknowledge the specific elements that had caused offense, focusing more on what they meant to do rather than what they had actually done. The controversy continued to grow, particularly among international fans. What had started as criticism of a single live stream began evolving into broader conversations about cultural appropriation in K-pop as a whole. Many pointed out that this wasn't an isolated incident. Groups like Mamamoo, Oh My Girl, and others had faced similar controversies over the years. Realizing that their initial response wasn't sufficient, Kiss of Life themselves took action. 5 days after the original live stream, all four members posted handwritten apology letters on their social media accounts. This was a much more personal approach, with the members taking direct responsibility for their actions. In their joint statement, they wrote, To all our kissies, we really want to sincerely apologize for the content that was uploaded that caused so much disappointment to our fans. Our intention was to show how much we loved the genre of old school hip hop because it greatly influences our music. We realize now that our content was culturally insensitive and take full responsibility for our actions and can only promise to do better. What's particularly telling about their second apology is that they acknowledged the delay in addressing the controversy directly. They admitted, "We have to seem calm on the outside, but the time leading up to this letter has honestly been hard." This gave fans a glimpse into how the members themselves were processing the situation and the backlash they were receiving. But here's where the story gets even more complex. The timing of this controversy couldn't have been worse for Kiss of Life. They had their Kiss Road Tour scheduled, with a stop in the Philippines just 2 days after the controversial livestream. Imagine having to perform and interact with fans while this controversy was exploding across social media. The members had to maintain their professional composure while dealing with the emotional weight of disappointing so many people. The follower loss was staggering. Reports indicated that Kiss of Life lost approximately 200,000 followers on Instagram alone within the first 24 hours. But it wasn't just numbers. It was the loss of genuine fans who felt personally hurt by what they had witnessed. Many fans posted emotional goodbye messages, explaining that as members of communities that had been stereotyped and mocked, they couldn't continue supporting the group. This controversy also highlighted broader issues within the K-pop industry. Critics pointed out that despite K-pop's global reach and heavy influences from Black culture, many companies still lack proper cultural sensitivity training. Some industry experts noted that while artists receive detailed coaching before international tours about regional sensitivities, this type of incident suggested that more comprehensive education was needed. The reaction from the broader K-pop community was mixed. Some fans and commentators felt that the backlash was proportionate, arguing that cultural appropriation needed to be called out regardless of intent. Others felt that the response was too harsh, particularly given that the members had apologized and removed the content. What made this situation particularly painful for many was the contrast between Kiss of Life's musical appreciation for hip-hop and R&B, and what was perceived as their visual mockery of the cultures that created these genres. Many fans had supported the group specifically because of their authentic-sounding R&B vocals and hip-hop influences, making this controversy feel like a betrayal of those very elements that had attracted fans in the first place. The incident also sparked broader conversations about the responsibility of K-pop idols in an increasingly globalized world. With social media making every action instantly visible to international audiences, the margin for error has become much smaller. What might have been acceptable or overlooked in a purely domestic context now faces immediate global scrutiny. Industry insiders noted that this controversy occurred during a period of heightened sensitivity around cultural appropriation in K-pop. Just months earlier, other incidents involving different groups had already put the spotlight on these issues, making the public reaction to Kiss of Life's live stream even more intense. The long-term impact of this controversy is still unfolding. While the group has continued their activities and maintained their remaining fan base, the incident has undoubtedly changed their trajectory. They've had to rebuild trust with international audiences while also educating themselves about cultural sensitivity in ways they apparently hadn't before. What's particularly interesting about this story is how it demonstrates the power of social media to hold public figures accountable in real time. Within hours, a birthday celebration had become a global conversation about respect, culture, and responsibility. The speed at which this unfolded shows just how quickly careers can be impacted in our digital age. This controversy has also become a case study for other K-pop companies and artists. It's shown that good intentions aren't enough. Cultural sensitivity requires genuine understanding and education. It's highlighted the importance of having diverse perspectives in creative teams and the need for comprehensive cultural training that goes beyond just avoiding certain words or gestures. As we look at this situation now, months later, it serves as a reminder of how complex our globalized entertainment landscape has become. Artists who draw inspiration from cultures around the world have a responsibility to understand and respect those cultures, not just borrow their aesthetics. The line between appreciation and appropriation isn't always clear, but the consequences of crossing it have never been more immediate or severe. The Kiss of Life controversy of 2025 will likely be remembered as a turning point in conversations about cultural sensitivity in K-pop. It showed that audiences are no longer willing to overlook these issues, regardless of an artist's popularity or previous good standing. It demonstrated that in our connected world, every action has the potential for global consequences. For fans, this incident was a painful reminder that the artists they support are human beings capable of making mistakes, sometimes significant ones. For the industry, it was a wake-up call about the need for better education and preparation. And for Kiss of Life themselves, it became a harsh but potentially valuable lesson about responsibility, respect, and the true meaning of cultural appreciation. Thanks for watching today's deep dive into this complex and sensitive topic. I know these stories aren't always easy to hear, especially when they involve artists we may have supported, but I think it's important to discuss these issues openly and thoughtfully. What do you think about situations like this? How should the industry handle cultural sensitivity training? And how do we balance accountability with forgiveness when artists make genuine mistakes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but please keep the discussion respectful and constructive. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more in-depth coverage of the stories that shape K-pop. I'll see you in the next video where we'll be exploring another chapter in the ever-evolving world of Korean entertainment. Until then, take care and remember that these conversations, as difficult as they may be, are important for creating a more understanding and inclusive future for everyone.